Dear students, please note down. The PDF file of all these notes have been uploaded in the description of video lecture. Please download your notes. In today's lecture, we will discuss an important topic of Pigeon, that is Columba Livia. And today's lecture, we will discuss digestive system of Pigeon. Dear students, please note down, this is final exam topic, digestive system of Pigeon. It is divided into two parts. First part is alimentary canal, and its second part, that is digestive glands. Alimentary canal is further divided into three parts. First part is foregut, or it is stomodium. Second part is that is midgut or mesenteron. And the third part, last part of alimentary canal, that is hindgut, or it is proctodium. Now down, the alimentary canal in case of pigeon, that is complete, and its first part, that is foregut, stomodium. It is ectodermal in origin, and internally it is lined by cuticle, as well as the last part, the hindgut, that is proctodium, and that part is also ectodermal in origin, and it is lined internally by cuticle. In order to prevent the loss of water, both foregut and hindgut are ectodermal in origin, and internally these are lined by cuticle. But this middle part, it is midgut, it is mesenteron, or it is small intestine, that is endodermal in origin, not lined by cuticle. And dear students, the foregut, the first part, stomodium, that consists of following parts. Its first part is mouth. The mouth, it is a large slit-like aperture, and mouth is bounded by two horny beaks. Mouth leads into a large second part of alimentary canal, that is buccopharyngeal cavity. Dear students, mouth leads into this large white cavity, that is buccopharyngeal cavity. It means this cavity is divided into two parts. Its anterior narrow part is, that is buccal cavity, and its posterior broader wider part is, that is pharynx. Buccal cavity, and that buccal cavity consists of three parts. At the floor of buccal cavity, this triangular and this muscular structure is tongue, which lies at the floor of buccal cavity. This tongue, which is triangular, its anterior part is almost pointed, but its posterior part is bilobed, and this tongue is, it is non-protrusible. Note down, second part of this buccal cavity, that is roof of this buccal cavity, which is named palate, and this palate is made up of two bony palatine folds that acts as roof of buccal cavity. And the third part of buccal cavity, that consists of a pair of internal nares. Now down, these internal nares are openings of nasal chambers. This posterior wider part is pharynx, and the pharynx consists of single opening of eustachian tube. These are a pair of eustachian tubes which carry air current to middle part of ear, tympanic cavity, and both eustachian tubes open by a common aperture in this pharyngeal region. In this part, another aperture is there, and this aperture is very important for final exam competitive exams. This one is gullet. It is opening of esophagus. This gullet is opening of this food pipe, esophageal opening, that is gullet, G-U-L-L-E-T. And another important point for competitive exams, that aperture is glottis. Note down, this glottis, it is an aperture of larynx. Note down, 3 openings. One is opening of eustachian tube. Second one is gullet, that is opening of esophagus. And the third one is glottis, that is opening of larynx. Note down, we are discussing foregut stomodium of pigeon. The first part is mouth, the second part is buccopharyngeal cavity, and this one is the third part of foregut, which is esophagus. And that esophagus, very important, this esophagus, which is tubular, anteriorly it is tubular part, but its posterior terminal part of this esophagus, that becomes an enlarged bilobed sac, and this terminal part of esophagus, which is sac-like, it is bilobed structure, this one is named crop. Note down, C-R-O-P. And this crop is meant for storage of food particles during breeding season. Note down, in both pigeons, means in both sacs, in this crop region, a pair of glands develop, and these glands are named crop glands. Dear students, these crop glands appear in both sexes during breeding season, and these crop glands secrete pigeon's milk, which is highly nutritious, and this pigeon's milk is produced under control of prolactin hormone of anterior lobe of pituitary gland. Note down, in both sexes. In case of pigeon, during breeding season, a pair of pigeon's gland, these are crop glands, which produce pigeon's milk, and that pigeon's milk is highly nutritious. It is regurgitated, and this pigeon's milk is fed to the young ones. The next part of foregut is, it is stomach, and this stomach is further divided into 2 parts. Its upper tubular part is, this one is proventriculus, which represents cardiac stomach, and this proventriculus, its lining, that is glandular. That glandular lining of this proventriculus secretes digestive juice, that is gastric juice, and that gastric juice contains proteolytic enzymes like pepsin. Note down, the stomach, that is the last part of foregut, and this stomach is divided into 2 parts. Upper tubular part is proventriculus, and that proventriculus secretes gastric juice, digestive juice, that contains proteolytic enzymes, which involves in the digestion of proteins, and its posterior terminal part of this stomach, it is thick, muscular, rounded part, and this one is gizzard. It means stomach involves in 2 activities. First part, proventriculus, that is tubular part that involves in that secretion of digestive juice, and this terminal powerful muscular part which involves in mastication of food, grinding of food, this one is gizzard, and this gizzard represents pyloric stomach, while this proventriculus represents cardiac stomach. The second part of alimentary canal, that is midgut, that is mesenteron, or it is small intestine, and this particular part, small intestine, having 2 parts. This upper small U-shaped structure, it is duodenum, and its posterior part, which is highly coiled tubular structure, this one is ileum. Both duodenum and ileum collectively constitute midgut, mesenteron or small intestine. This upper part, duodenum, it consists of another digestive gland, it is pancreas, and that pancreatic juice contains all categories of enzymes for the digestion of carbohydrates. Amylolytic enzymes are there. For the digestion of proteins, proteolytic enzymes are there. And dear students, for the digestion of lipids, fats, lipolytic enzymes are present. As well as this duodenum receives the secretion of another gland, which is liver. And that liver is bilobed. From these liver lobes, a pair of bile ducts which carry the secretion of liver, which is bile. As in case of pigeon, not down, there is no gallbladder. It means the liver secretion, which is bile, that never gets stored because there is no gallbladder. This ileum, which is highly coiled tubular structure, and this ileum is lined by glandular epithelium that secretes intestinal juice or saccus entericus, as well as this ileum having finger-like projections, villi. It means this ileum provides maximum area for the absorption and digestion of food. And the last part of alimentary canal, this one is hindgut. It is proctodium, and this hindgut further divided into two parts. One is rectum or large intestine. At the junction of this ileum and this rectum, a pair of ceca are present. These are colic ceca, and these colic ceca are involved in the absorption of water. And this rectum opens in this a common chamber, it is cloaca, and this cloaca receives fecal matter. It means rectum opens in it, as well as urinogenital systems, urinary system as well as genital reproductive systems open in this common chamber. And this cloaca opens by an aperture, it is cloacal aperture. In the roof of this cloaca, not down, competition students, all competitive exam students, in the roof of this cloaca, a lymphoid tissue is there. It is bursa fabricus that produce B cells. Dear students, bursa fabricus, or it is cloacal thymus. That is a lymphoid tissue, that is a lymphoid glands that produce lymphocytes for defense mechanism, for immunity. The B cells, bursa fabricus. And the digestive glands which associate in this digestive system are buccal glands. These buccal glands are of two types. A pair of buccal glands are sublingual. Sublingual means these a pair of glands lie below the tongue at the floor of buccal cavity, as well as at the angles of mouth. A pair of mucous glands which secrete mucus for the lubrication of food. Second type of digestive glands are gastric glands, already discussed. Gastric glands are present in the lining of this proventriculus that secretes digestive juice, or it secretes gastric juice that contains proteolytic enzymes for the digestion of proteins, like pepsin enzyme is very common in this digestive secretion. third type of gland, that is this digestive gland, which is large, bilobed. It is liver, and the liver secretes bile from the liver. The bile is carried via a pair of bile ducts which open in this duodenum. And in this duodenum, fourth type of digestive gland, that is a pancreas. And the pancreatic juice that contains all three categories of enzymes for the digestion of carbohydrates, proteins and fats. The enzymes are amylolytic, proteolytic and lipolytic. All these digestive enzymes from this pancreatic gland passed into this duodenum through numerous pancreatic ducts. And note down, in this small intestine, means in the lining of ileum as well as pancreas, intestinal glands are there which secrete intestinal juice or saccus entericus that also contains all three categories of enzymes for the digestion of carbohydrates, proteins and lipids. Means in the secretion of both pancreatic as well as intestinal glands. In this lining of intestine, all three types of enzymes are produced, which involve in the digestion of carbohydrates. These are amylolytic. For the digestion of proteins, these enzymes are proteolytic, and for the digestion of lipids, the lipolytic enzymes are produced. Dear students, this is all about digestive system of pigeon. And in tomorrow's lecture, means in next lecture, we will discuss another important topic, that is respiratory system of